This is Chaz Estrada with True Heat Solutions out in Southern California, and you're listening to the world's #1 pest control training podcast, the Pest Geek Podcast, with Frank Hernandez.
Pull out your hose and grab your can. We're about to integrate another Pest Geek podcast. Hi, everybody. Frank Hernandez here, and welcome to the Pest Geek podcast, bringing you the latest information on pests, products, and politics from today's leading industry sources to help you start, manage, and grow your pest control business.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the Pest Geek podcast. I am your host, Frank Hernandez, here every day discussing all things pest. I want to remind everybody to join the society. That's right, the Pest Geek Society. We're on Facebook group, Pest Geek Podcast Listeners Group. Look us up. Also, on the web, pestgeekpodcast.com, and we also got a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. We're everywhere. And now to our main topic.
This is James Rodriguez in the Pest Geek Podcast. I want to talk a little bit about gophers today and residual protection. When we're talking gopher treatments, there's a lot of products out there that are available for it. And they seem like a mystery because they're underground and we only see the damage that they cause. We have to keep in mind residual protection is equal to your reputation. Imagine going back to the same property every 2 weeks or every month with the same exact ant problem. Well, with gophers, it's kind of the same thing, because once you treat for gophers, let's say you're trapping and you remove the gopher, well, gophers can come in from an adjacent property. Think of their runs or their tunnel systems. A young gopher is about 200 square feet, and an adult gopher can be up to 2,200 square feet. So looking at those numbers, we need something to offer our customers that offers that protection that they need. And here's the solution, is after trapping, because I do like trapping, it does offer immediate results. If you're not familiar with it, get with someone. Ask people online. Pick up some traps from your local store. Test it out on your friend's property. Work on your skills for trapping gopher, because again, that does yield your best results without chemical. Other things too that are available are fumotoxin and other gases or gassing systems. Here's the deal with those. They are expensive. They are really good. I like the equipment. It's good. It works. With fumotoxin though, when it comes to gases in general, I look at gases as a higher risk product. And the objective of pest control and IPM is to use a low risk product where you can, or looking at the degree of infestation. Example, if you have a large infestation, go in with your gases, reduce the population. But as far as retreatments go, think of a baiting program. And a baiting program, we developed a bait a while back. It's almost 20 years ago or 25 years ago now. It's a bait block. It's similar to rat bait in your stations, but it's larger. It's 1.5 inch in diameter, and it's about 4 inches long, and it's 4 ounces. That's a lot of bait. It's a large bait block, but here's the deal. You put the bait into the runways in a nice clean runway, away from the entrance. You shove it in deep into the hole. And you put 2 blocks per runway. The deal with that is that 8 ounces of material that you're putting in the ground. And Answer for Gophers says treat 2 to 3 areas in a yard, in an average size yard. That's a lot of bait for one location. It has a paraffin in it, so it stays good for a long time underground. It is designed to be placed underground. But with successes like with parks or reoccurring revenue, after you trap and you pull out your dead gophers, put in a block. That block in the runway is offering you that residual protection and offering a better deal for your customers. But on the other hand, here's the cool thing about it, is you're reducing your callbacks. The biology of the gopher is that they're tunneling through their system, they're foraging, they're doing burrow maintenance, but they're also caching their food, they're storing their food. So when these 6 blocks are in this average yard, the gopher can't eat all of them. So what he's doing is he's getting them and he's storing them in his food cache. The good thing about that is when another gopher comes in, a robber gopher, let's say, when a robber gopher comes in and he's foraging in this new tunnel system, he's looking for resources, and the resources are nesting material and food. And so he comes across the JT Eaton answer for gophers, and he feeds off of it. It stays good in the ground for months at a time. So there's not a lot of reapplication. So here's the advantages of using a block bait. Number 1, you're offering residual protection. Number 2, there's not a lot of reapplications to the same yard, because you have a lot of bait you're placing a lot of bait with one application. And the third thing that you're doing is you're protecting your reputation. And you're protecting your reputation by not having a lot of callbacks on a property. So think about those things. If you're not using the block or you have excessive amount of bait, to keep it good, a tip is put it in a plastic bag and follow the same principles of inserting a block bait. The last thing that I'm going to note is this. Don't bait with any product. Don't bait right at the mound. At the mound is where the gopher is doing most of his work in his tunnel system. And that bait really doesn't belong there. You actually have more success by pushing it further into the run. Put it in a plastic bag, push it further into the run, and that's going to give you residual protection. I hope that helps out. I talked a little bit about our bait. I want to thank the Pest Geek Podcast, and thank you for listening.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. Until tomorrow, have a pestacular day.
Thank you for listening to the Pest Geek Podcast. If you have enjoyed the Pest Geek Podcast, please give us a rating, write a review, or subscribe to the channel. You can join the Pest Geek Society by visiting pestgeekpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. See you next time.